The Raandom Jottings of Donald J. from Nelson in Pendle. Lancashire Whisky. Whisky, or whisky, there is no distinction, was commercially manufactured in the Lancashire towns of Manchester, Liverpool and Bolton in considerable quantity throughout the 19th century. See whisky, but the county also has a significant history of illicit whisky distilling. The illegal trade has been particularly associated with the wild area around the moors of Haslingden and Blackburn, recorded in innumerable stories and records of prosecutions from the 1820s onwards. The Whisky Spinners' homemade still whisky, of a sort, isn't too difficult to make, but governments are prone to tax the things people are fond of, and none more highly than whisky. Moorland hiding places, an abundance of fine peatland water and an independence of spirit, gave rise to Lancashire's illegal Grane Whisky, meeting the needs to augment a meager income, and to drink enough to make it tolerable. With legendary disregard for troublesome London laws, Lancastrians kept a healthy trade in illegal whisky. Between 1835 and 1837 no less than 21 illegal distilleries were discovered in Bolton alone. No area was more famous than Haslingden, home of the notorious Whisky Spinners, tax-evading distillers on a grand scale. The practice was so widespread that an excise officer was permanently based in Haslingden from 1834 to 48 to try to prevent it, though with a conspicuous lack of success. In April 1857 a party of excisemen made a surprise visit to Bentley House near Calf Hay. After an extensive search, they found a complete whisky distillery in subterranean passages, purposely cut from the rock beneath the farm, with the flue from the still feeding into the house chimney to diffuse the giveaway smoke. There is another story that Grane Whisky was regularly delivered to a Haslingden hotel by the daughter of a weaving family. 3 or 4 gallons would fill a hollow metal saddle, concealed beneath bales of woven cloth on a donkey. A similar device was used by a man one night at Haslingden Fair. He wore a metal waistcoat containing Grane Whisky, very uncomfortable but full of consolation. It seems unlikely that such business could have continued for over a century without the nodded acceptance of the gentry and judiciary. Bad luck if your local magistrate was a brewer, like Daniel Thwaite of Blackburn, who, in 1858 fined James Morris of Farpike L 230 for defrauding the revenue of an estimated L 700 for a year. The Blackburn supervisor of excise said that he had never seen such an efficient illicit still, that the place had been constructed purposely for whisky manufacture and had been in operation for at least 50 years. By 1861 James was living with his family in Roscoe Fold in Grane village, working as an engine tender at Calf Hill Mill. In all probability he was back at spinning whisky too. It was too much of a coincidence that after the engine house was demolished in 1910, a complete whisky still was discovered. Remains of Bentley House, Haslingden, one of the Whisky Spinners' mills. Report of illicit distillation of whisky at Bentley House. Westmoreland Gazette, Saturday 23 May 1857. The people of that area traditionally made their livings by spinning thread, and the makers of local whisky were referred to as the Whisky Spinners, a tradition celebrated in this ballad published in the Blackburn Standard on Saturday 21 January 1888 about a distiller from Grindleton near Clitheroe. Story? In the heart of Lancashire, where the moors whispered secrets and the rivers flowed with tales of rebellion, there existed a tradition that danced on the edge of legality, the art of Lancashire whisky. The 19th century saw the commercial rise of whisky in Lancashire's bustling towns, with Manchester, Liverpool, and Bolton pouring their spirits into the world. Yet, amid the legal distilleries, a clandestine dance unfolded in the shadowy corners of Haslingden and Blackburn. The Whisky Spinners, as they came to be known, wove threads of rebellion and spirits of defiance into the fabric of their illicit trade. Hidden in the wilds around the moors, Lancashire's illicit Grane Whisky was born. The ingredients were simple: a pinch of independence, a dash of moorland hiding places, and an abundance of peatland water. It was a concoction that met the needs of those seeking to augment meager incomes and drown the hardships of life in a glass of rebellion. Governments, however, had an uncanny knack for taxing the pleasures of the people, and Lancastrians found themselves on the wrong side of the law. Undeterred, they crafted homemade stills, their underground passages and rock-cut distilleries a testament to their determination to outwit the taxman. The moors whispered tales of defiance, and the air was thick with the aroma of Grane Whisky, tax-evading elixir of the Lancashire rebels. The heart of this defiance beat strongest in Haslingden, where the Whisky Spinners spun tales as legendary as the spirits they crafted. The excise officer stationed in Haslingden between 1834 and 1848 found himself in a futile dance with the rebels. No less than 21 illegal distilleries were unearthed in Bolton between 1835 and 1837, a testament to the resilience of Lancashire's clandestine whisky trade. In April 1857, a party of excisemen descended upon Bentley House near Calf Hay, disrupting the quiet rebellion that thrived beneath the surface. Subterranean passages revealed a complete whisky distillery, the flueway discreetly leading into the house chimney to veil the telltale smoke. The Whisky Spinners, however, were not easily thwarted. Legends spoke of a weaver's daughter delivering Grane Whisky to a Haslingden hotel. Concealed beneath bales of woven cloth on a donkey was a metal saddle filled with 3 or 4 gallons of the rebellious elixir. Another tale unfolded at Haslingden Fair, where a man, wearing a metal waistcoat laden with Grane Whisky, embraced discomfort for the solace it brought. The illicit trade persisted for over a century, seemingly accepted by the gentry and judiciary, though not universally. Magistrates like Daniel Thwaite of Blackburn, a brewer himself, cracked down on those who defied the revenue. James Morris of Far Byclow felt the sting of a L230 fine in 1858. A heavy toll for defrauding the revenue of an estimated L700 in a year. But the spirit of rebellion lived on. By 1861, James found himself in Grane village, working as an engine tender at Calf Hill Mill. Unbeknownst to the authorities, he likely returned to spinning whisky, for in 1910, when the engine house met its demise, a complete whisky still was uncovered, a silent testament to Lancashire's enduring tradition of defiance. The remains of Bentley House stood as a faded memory, a silent witness to the Whisky Spinners' mills and the dance of rebellion that echoed through Lancashire's moors. The people continued to spin threads, both literal and metaphorical, weaving tales of resistance into the very fabric of their existence. And so, the Lancashire whisky flowed, a liquid rebellion against the constraints of law and a nod to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dance on the edge. By Donald J.